Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I am breaking down 5 things I do as a successful small business owner. Even if you're not in the world of fitness, hopefully this video brings you a few ideas in terms of your own career or personal growth. I've been working in fitness since 2016, but I actually moved 100% independent in 2020 for obvious reasons. One day I'll do a whole video like breaking down how I started in fitness and how I got to where I am today, but that's not what this video is. So we're gonna dive into the first thing that I do as a successful small business owner. All right, so we're gonna jump off with the first tip, which is to get yourself a NASA hat. Just kidding. In all seriousness, the first thing that I do is create actionable goals for myself every single year. I have been doing this since 2021, and it's been a really great way for me to not only see a clear trajectory of where my business can grow, but also create actionable steps along the way. So let's break this down a little bit more. Yes, I did write all of my goals down each year on a piece of paper. They sit in a filing cabinet though, so it's more organized than it looks. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is actually pick a verb for the year. This year, my verb is grow, and that means a few different things. I wanna grow my business, I wanna grow my social media accounts, which in turn affect my business, and I wanna grow as a coach. So keeping that in mind, the next thing that I'll do is actually just kind of brain dump anything that I want to accomplish in the year, whether it has to do with that grow verb or not. So some of the things that I just kind of like brain dumped for this year was to save more each month, pay off my credit cards, create a stricter lifting routine. I just wrote CSCS, which is Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. It's a certification that I want to get, and then understand my finances more. So a lot of money goals right here. So you can see that one of the things in my brain is growing financially. I think we can all agree things are expensive. And to be honest, probably just like everybody else in the world, we want to be able to live comfortably without stressing about finances. So what I'll do from there is kind of break down those goals into different categories. So since everything seems so financially driven, I started with money. So the first actionable step that I could take was by maxing out my IRA, which I did, create a solo K, which I'm going to talk about later in the video, and I have not done that yet, but it's basically like a 401k for single member LLCs, and pay off my credit cards, which I've done. Because I've done these things, I actually have been able to save each month and grow my savings. Next up, we've got business. I don't want to share too much like numerically. I just want to kind of keep that for myself, but I set a goal for Fit Club members, which I'm actually very close to. I wanted to try out small group training. I did one, I guess like group or cohort of that. It was semi-successful. I don't really know if it's the best fit for my business, so we're putting that on the back burner. I want to get to 75,000 on YouTube by the end of the year. Right now, I think I'm sitting close to 60. It doesn't seem like with my current trajectory, I'm going to hit that, but I'm going to get really close. And I have seen a lot of great growth on YouTube this year. So that is like a win no matter what. I want to at least start the CSCS process. So in September, I'm actually going to purchase the textbook and start studying, and haven't really thought about when I want to take my exams or anything. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll see. I wrote something that I don't understand. So we'll skip that. I want to have better short form content, which I think I've been producing a lot better Instagram reels, things that people are actually saving and are actually helpful. I've been spending a little bit more time there. And then I want to do like a professional photo shoot by the end of the year because I haven't done that. And again, if we look at all of these things, these all serve that growing goal. The photo shoot will make my website look better, make my social media look better, which can help grow my business. Having that additional certification will give me more credibility, get me more people in my programs, grow my business. So everything I'm doing goes back to that goal of the year, which is grow. And then I have some health and relationship goals, and then I have some other numerical goals here. But just to give you some examples of other years, the verbs that I've chosen, commit was a goal one year. So some of the things that I did in that year were actively tracking my finances, really getting into the nitty-gritty with my nutrition, with my workouts, redesign my website, max out my private clients. So like committing to the business that I have. So no matter when you're watching this, if you have not yet set either personal or career goals for yourself for the year, I think the best way to start is by selecting that verb. In my brain, it kind of ties everything together really nicely with a bow, and it can give you a lot of guidance on the nitty-gritty things that you want to put your focus onto. The second thing I've done for a successful business has been micro-shifting with my audience. Let's talk a little bit more about what that means. Essentially, this means changing aspects of your business without overhauling your entire higher mission. One of the biggest mistakes I see, especially in the world of fitness, is massive overhauls to what you offer based off of what's trendy at the moment. I saw a lot of people start at the beginning of the pandemic offering body weight only workouts and saying, well, this is what works and this is the only thing you need to sell their product. Then gyms start reopening. Oh, well, now we're into strength training, and strength training is all you need, and strength training is how you build this body that you see right here. And then Pilates became popular and people shifted more into that world of things. So I'm not saying you can't offer all of those things, but to put everything you have into one aspect of your business and then completely changing it, it's a little silly. So I want to talk about a microshift that I've made recently within my business that not only gotten me a significant amount of business, but has also kind of created a whole new revenue stream for me while still sticking to my mission. So really quickly, within the Fit Club, I offer mostly on-demand workouts. They're strength-based, they're follow-along, and the whole purpose is to make you smarter and stronger. So that means as I'm coaching you through the workout, I'm giving you just the why behind it. It's not a science lesson. It's just so you understand why we're doing what we're doing. Now, in the past year, I've gotten a lot more requests for gym-based programs because gyms have been reopened. Specifically, people didn't want a whole follow-along video. They actually wanted more of a checklist with sets and reps, what your intensity should be, why we should be doing it, and demo videos to follow. So I've been keeping my eye on this for about a year, and last year I did test out a program on the Boost Camp app. The reason I did this is because I wanted to see if there were people, A, that already follow me that would utilize that and be interested, and B, it's just another way to like get more eyes on me because they do have a lot of users. So today I think there's over 4,000 people on that program. Girl, what? Where did you get that number? It's like 1,000. That's still pretty awesome. I genuinely thought there were 4,000 people. There is not. And I've gotten dozens of emails or DMs and requests to make my own gym programs in the Fit Club. So I took that as kind of like the green light go ahead, and now I actually am offering gym versions or checklist versions of my on-demand programs. Now, the reason I wasn't doing that from the get-go, because I used to host my business on Wix. That's a whole separate video to talk about Wix and my experience with them. But last year I did move my business over to Samble, which is a separate hosting platform, and it is specifically designed for fitness professionals. This isn't sponsored, but I do want to talk about them for a second because A, I think it serves the purpose of this goal for giving a bigger example, and B, my business has doubled since I moved there. So if you're a coach and you want to host your business somewhere, I'm just saying. So looking at the platform from the user view, I personally think it's pretty clear. I also always try to have people that don't know my business look at it and just like give me feedback. I do offer live classes, so I have all of my live classes of the week scheduled here. I have a pretty extensive on-demand library. I'll show you the back end in a second, but all of this basically like self-sorts. You just have to choose the category, which is super nice. And then we also have programs up here, but now you can see that I can categorize on-demand versus gym programs. I'm in the process of building out more of these in here. It's just gonna take some time. On the back end, it's really, really simple to use. It's really easy to book live classes, and you have a lot of different options to make this customized to your business. And like I said, I do offer the gym programs now, so mobily it is just a really simple interface. I've also used Train Heroic, and I think personally that the layout is a lot cleaner, it's a lot easier to follow, and then even on the coach's end, it's just so much easier to customize it to exactly what you want to offer. So again, this is not sponsored, but if you're a coach and you're thinking of moving your business over to Samble, I have a link down for you below. You can always schedule a free call with one of the founders, Dom, and just let him know that I sent you. All right, we are coming in hot with tip number 3 as I set up to film a workout. So my third tip might be a little controversial, but I firmly believe that you should do as much as you can for your business, even if it's not in your wheelhouse, before you start to outsource. There are a lot of aspects of businesses, including mine, that have components that have absolutely nothing to do with what you actually offer. You know, specifically for me, there's editing, there's SEO research, there's social media marketing. None of that really falls under the realm of personal trainer. And would I have probably had more success, whatever that means, in the beginning if I knew how to do those things better? Yes, probably. But I do firmly think that there's something to be said about understanding every aspect of your business and how it performs and how it serves like your greater mission. I do get questions all the time of like, well, how did you know how to do this or how to do that? And the answer is, I didn't know. I probably still don't really know. But there are so many free resources on YouTube. You can Google things. People have different blogs, free webinars, free courses. So if there's something you don't know how to do, I always recommend just dive in, figure it out. And then along the way, eventually, you're going to be able to outsource more things that either you don't have time for anymore or that are literally just like above what you could Google and figure out yourself. I think there's really only been like 3 things that I've ever outsourced. One was when I first started offering in-person classes again, and I literally just needed someone to help me like check people in because I would be teaching. So I hired somebody, I paid them to sit at the door, check people in, and then they would like also capture social media footage for me. So that was literally just because I couldn't be in 2 places at once. The next time I outsourced something was actually just when I needed to like fully overhaul the mobile version of my website and I just didn't feel like doing it. My cousin runs like a virtual assistant, online business manager business. She was offering like this 1-day sale, so I took advantage of it and I had someone fully redesign my mobile website, which was super helpful just because it was one of those things on like the back end where I was like, ugh, I just don't really have the time to do this. And then the big thing that I did have to outsource was getting branding done for my business. I didn't do this at first, and I did wait, I think, 2 years to actually invest in it, which I think is smart because I think I was also figuring out, ideal client still. I was still figuring out my whole message. I was still figuring out like who I'm trying to target. So I'm glad that I waited a little bit before I outsourced that, but then we created, all of my brand colors, my logo, different options for my logos, things like that. But I'm really glad that I waited to outsource anything because I think it is so imperative that you know the ins and outs of your business. That is one of the best ways that you will be able to grow because you will understand how everything works. One final takeaway, I fully realized that now I am in a place where I could hire someone to take on some of these administrative tasks. But to be honest, there's 2 reasons why I don't. Number 1, hiring someone out to do those administrative tasks would obviously take away some of my income. So I personally want to supplement that by taking on more clients. But that isn't really where I see the trajectory of my business going. Like I don't want to continue to have my time be other people's. I'm trying to build toward more of like a passive income type of business. And number 2, I actually enjoy doing those tasks. I would say, every business operates differently, but if you are someone who absolutely hates editing, you hate social media posting, all of that, like, yeah, outsource it. I enjoy doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it until it is quite literally unsustainable for me. So there's that. Good morning. So the 4th thing that I do is I diversify my income. Now this obviously depends on your business and how it's structured. So let's just break down my streams of income as an example. So first up, just specifically within my business offerings, I have the Fit Club and I have private coaching. The private coaching is personal training. And then within the Fit Club, I have monthly memberships, I have drop-in classes, I have programs that you can purchase and then have lifetime access to. You could rent a class. So there's a lot of offerings, but they're also all kind of contained in like, you can take a live class, you can take the recording, and you can gain access to all of this stuff by just being a monthly member. Because you also want to be sure that you're not offering too many things so that people look at your stuff and like know what you have to offer. I find that if you offer way too many things within your business, people get like either confused or overwhelmed and they don't buy anything. So like I said in another tip, this is something that I have outside eyes on, like people who don't take class from me, people who don't work with me, to make sure I'm not offering too many things, just like that it's clear. Anyway, that was a side tangent. But that's kind of my 2 streams of income within my business. Next up is YouTube. So on YouTube, I do make money through AdSense. That's basically like when you watch an ad, I get a little bit of money. Do not ever be afraid to skip the ads. I'm not offended, okay? The other way that I monetize YouTube is through sponsorships, even though I have not had a sponsorship in so long. I do get offers, but not very good ones anymore. Just like it feels like a lot of scams, a lot of brands like Shein that I'm not interested in working with for what I hope is obvious reasons. But at the end of the day, YouTube is actually my number 1 driver of business to my actual business offerings. So I like to think that it all kind of works together. And then my last stream of income is affiliate links. I will say I'm not very good at this, but I also don't offer a lot of like recommendation content or like more influencer-y type content. Like I think think of influencer content as I'm influencing you to buy the things that I own. And I feel like I'm not doing that. But I'll always have like my Amazon shop listed. I make sure just to put, you know, my filming equipment on there, workout equipment that I enjoy. And I'll make a little bit of money from people purchasing through my links on there. Actually, all of the certifications that I list underneath every video that I have, a lot of those are also affiliate links. So like if you hear me talk about precision nutrition and you're really interested in getting that certification, the link I have below is an affiliate link. So if you sign up, I get a little kickback. And if you're hate watching me and you're like, I'm never using your links, awesome, now you know. And then I'll pop this up on the screen here. I also use this thing called Hop, which is actually through Wix, which is my website provider. And this is a really cool like link in bio option that I just think looks a lot nicer. And you can do a little like favorites list underneath, and those are also affiliate links. So this definitely is not like revolutionary what I'm doing. Diversifying your income is not a new concept and I didn't invent it. But I think it's helpful to see examples of how people do it, because I think a lot of times when people hear diversify your income, they mean have 3 different jobs or something like that. But really, the 3 ways that I diversify my income actually all kind of work to feed each other. My 5th and final tip is to know your finances like the back of your hand. I know that I'm crazy for this, but I actually track my finances manually. I'll pop up here the Excel sheet that I use. I made it myself. It works for me and my business for a few reasons. Number 1, it's just me. Like it is just me and my business. So it's really not hard in terms of financial tracking. Number 2, I actually started this process back in a time when I was so absolutely stressed about money all of the time. You know, when you're stressed about something to the point where you just like procrastinate and avoid it? That was me with all of my money. I would never look at my bank account. I would never look at my credit cards because the thought of it even stressed me out. So I would procrastinate until like the very last day that I had to go in and pay my bills and pay my rent. So I found for me, immersing myself in it daily was super, super helpful. Now, obviously I could use something like QuickBooks. To be honest, the system that I have now works totally fine. But if I want something that's a little more hands-off, I'll probably move to that in the future. Now, I also use something that I call a growth tracker, which tracks my social media. It tracks my Fit Club members, it tracks the money in my bank account each month, and it tracks how much I've paid for my quarterly taxes. So it tracks a lot of things. The reason I put all of these in one spreadsheet is because I do monetize social media. Obviously, my membership portal, that is monetized. So this is all money stuff that I like to see in one place just to give me a firm handle of where my finances are going. Again, I have found that having the data in front of you that you can immerse yourself in and know it like the back of your hand, not only personally gives me a lot more control and just like a feeling of ease over money, which can be very stressful. But more importantly, if I'm constantly clued in to where my money's going, how much money I have coming in, then I can make smart business decisions along the way. I had to say that sentence like 8 times. That was so hard. And then the last thing financially that I want to talk about is investing. I am 35, so I am a true millennial, and unfortunately, my generation will not be able to save themselves into retirement. This was something that I didn't understand for a really long time. The thought of like taking my money and putting it somewhere else and investing it anywhere was really scary to me. In my brain, I always thought you just keep it in your savings account forever, and then that's the money you have when you retire, right? And that might have worked for maybe our parents, but that will not work for us now. I am not a finance channel, so if you want more info on that, I am not your person, but here are a few things that I do to set us up for financial security when we're old. The first thing, and I've been doing this actually since I was like 21, thank goodness someone in my family made me do this, but I max out my IRA every year. So Kevin and I each have our own Roth IRAs. We try to max these out right at the beginning of the year just so it's done and over with. And I forget what the max amount is that you can put in now. I think it's like $6,500, $7,000? I can't remember. And so with that money in our IRA, we actually have a financial advisor who he takes that money and he invests it. And he invests it in very safe stocks. I think like, oh my God, I'm going to show how dumb I am with all of this as I'm giving this advice. Like the S&P 500, is that something? Because again, if you're not investing those savings, the money's not going to grow very much. Obviously, there are high yield savings accounts, which I would also recommend having that. But even with that, I would recommend taking some and investing. You know, the other option, which I have looked at and then I haven't done it, and I should probably look at it again, is investing in a Uni-K or a Solo K. It's basically a 401k, but it's meant for single member LLCs. So that is another option in terms of putting your money in there and then being able to invest it. I'm going to say it one more more time, I am not a financial advisor. I also know like the bare minimum. This is barely any advice here, but I have met so many people my age who don't even know what an IRA is. So just saying, let's get the ball rolling. All right, so those are the 5 things that I do as a successful small business owner. I think that even though each and every one of these things might not be applicable to you, hopefully if you are looking for a little inspiration, looking for a little guidance, this gave it to you. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And if there's anything that you do as a small business owner that you find helps contribute to your success, please leave it down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out, and I will see you all in the next one.